Now, 1 in 3 women across the globe are faced by gender-based violence, while 8 out of 10 in Guinea Conakry are sexually assaulted or face gender-based violence, according to a research team by members of the NGO in the country alongside the United Nations. Now, there have been campaigns by women in the country to put an end to the rising phenomenon they now claim has also resulted in the deaths of several women across the regions in the country, as concerned authorities are doing very little to try and avert the norm. According to FEDEP, the organization helping the United Nations in the country, girls are still forced to marry, rape is an order of the day, and female genital mutilation is still being practiced by several communities across the country, while at the same time, women in the working class are still being harassed sexually by men at the working place.
Several Guinean NGOs are active in order to remove the obstacles. They encourage victims to denounce and lodge a complaint. Number of cases of rapes are condemned by these organizations, believing that impunity does not facilitate the fight against the violence in the country. According to the FEDEP NGO, in Guinea, no age is spared by the rapists. For example, a 9-month-old baby escaped an attempted rape in Pita. Rape in Guinea is condemned up to 5 years imprisonment.
We're now being joined by Fatoumata Sheriff. She is the founder of FEDEP, the organization trying to avert the sexual violence in Guinea Conakry. Good morning, Madam Fatoumata. How deep is the sexual violence against women in Guinea?
C'est vraiment une question d'actualité.
It is really a topical issue. Violence against women in Guinea includes very large-scale violence based on gender, female genital mutilation, which persists despite all the campaigns that have been made and even the involvement of the government. Studies recently done by the Ministry of Social Affairs and the National Directorate of Statistics show that 95% of women at least are victims of sexual violence. In recent years, we have seen an increase in cases of violence, which is unacceptable. There are at least 3 girls out of 7 who are abused, and at least 67% who are married before the age of 17, and this is very serious. Domestic violence are also found there. There are at least 8 women out of 10 who are abused on a regular basis. So the situation is serious despite the fact that efforts are being taken to combat the phenomenon.
Now, Fatoumata, is there some sort of impunity in some of these cases they reported across the country?
I think that impunity is one of the reasons why the phenomenon persists, because there also the sociology of communities that request that the women can be circumcised. In some communities, an uncut woman is not considered as a pure woman. She struggles to be integrated into the society, and she even struggles to get married. There's this company that prevents sometimes the judiciary to play its role. Some societies prevent these some of the legal procedures to take its role. Otherwise, there are articles that are there. The law punishes female genital mutilators and forced marriages, the perpetrators of forced marriages. But the sociology of the times to wait on justice, it really prevents the court's decision to be taken and includes cases of rape. And also it's true that there are many affinities because there is often women are reluctant to speak out about this. Women violated, abused women do not often report about this.
And what do you so far expect from the Guinean government or the authorities you think are concerned with this?
So what is expected of the authorities is the effectiveness of all decisions taken in the field. This is not to campaign during the international days. The fight against violence against women is a daily struggle, a day-to-day struggle. We often hear reactions when serious cases arise and when there is a campaign that is associated with an international institution. I say no to this. It is a common responsibility, a responsibility of the government government to protect its citizens so that justice can be implemented, so that decisions can be met, then that violence against women is at the center stage of the struggle of all the days of government policies. Guinea, like many countries which signed the objectives of sustainable development, its 5 goals: equal opportunities, gender equality. It is written on the list of the violence against women. So to ratify these conventions, we must be at the forefront of these struggles.
Now, oftenly, Fatoumata, the issue of caring for the victims of some of these cases arises. How does the governing authority in the country handling this, or how are you guys trying to handle this?
What the government is doing exactly is that there are still limits, but I know that civil society organizations play a lot of role to accompany women so that they look at their dignity. The government itself, through the Ministry of Social Action, is often carrying out few campaigns, and there's also a service dealing with cases of violence. But we forget that these are not all violence against women that have been reported. Those that are reported are maybe taken on are few, but considering the number of cases that have not been reported, there are quite many. So it is a real problem to tell if there is a policy just for women to watch their dignity. It's not popularized at all levels.